Hello, I'm going to continue on from video 3, part 3. This will be part 4. So I haven't really divided them up. I just going to work as much as I can, like an hour or so, and then I'll stop. I haven't really got it planned out. I just want to try and set it up as close to my previous setup. There's going to be a lot of stuff that I'm going to forget because I did the other stuff over a couple of years, so we'll take it as it comes, and this should be helpful to people, I think. So let's open up that plan view that we created. Now, usually I would have this on the E101 drawing, and I would have the anchor plan on the E100. I'm not going to get into the anchor plan. I don't think I might. Let's see. So I've opened this right now. We can see that the handrail is in there. The one thing I will notice is that everything is coming in with the color 143. Um, I don't want everything. I'm gonna have to change that because I want things. I don't want everything to be the same color. I'm trying to remember how to change that. Maybe I'll address that in the next video. Um, yeah, that's interesting. All right, so right now we have a plan view here. So this plan view is probably a little too big. So anyway, first of all, we will delete this. So I want to delete this concrete elements. Uh, Now I can also turn them off. Generally, I just delete them. Uh, but we can turn them off in the model also in the drawing style. So let's just see if it deletes them all. All right, it deleted them all. Now if I go back and check here, and let's just see what this is. I made this as a slab, it's concrete. Sometimes I make them as solids, so concrete walls. So I mean, maybe I shouldn't have deleted them. Let's turn them off using the. I'm going to restore erased parts. Okay, so I'm going to make them come back on. I'm going to go to the plan view and change that. I'm trying to think, did I change the color of the text in the elevation view? I'm going to check that now as well. So let's see. So I'm going to go into the drawing style, and I just want to check the elevation first. So the elevation detail title is in green. Let me change this to blue. Okay, so we won't worry about the elevation for now. We're going to go to the plan view. So plan view ADM. So it's gone to the end. Trying to think if I'll put the ADM at the front. I'll leave it here for now. So we can see here, let's change this. The blue is easier to read anyway. And it is in Tecton here. I want to change this to other. So it'll bring in whatever I leave in the box. And here, I want to have scale. I'll put in the scale here. This here, I'm going to underline. This here, I'm going to make bold. Okay, so there I have edited that text for the title. Go into the plan view, ADM, 3/8 is to 1. I'll leave it at that for now. View direction, object presentation. Alright, so I have already changed this. So you have external objects. So if you go into external objects and check it, you can see it's X solids. So if I made those walls as solids, then this is where I would turn it off. So we'll go back and we'll see all concrete objects, visible, exact, hidden, cut, concrete. So I'm just going to go to off, apply, use. The title should change, and I think the scale is going to get slightly smaller. I believe beforehand it was 3.5 inch. So yeah, it's going to get slightly smaller. Now we can see we still have a couple of elements here. So if I go back and check to see what these are, sorry. If I go back to see what these are, I'll go back to the model. So it's going to be this wall, which is the 3D solid, sorry. So I did create those walls as 3D solids. So I guess I had the foresight to know that I would want to turn both off. Again, we can see when we created this that it's coming in with um, the wrong grid extensions, which I don't like. So what I'll do is let's delete this and let's go back in and let's turn them solids off. So this one off. Let's just check this one, existing structures, advanced steel objects. And that is, you can see anything with existing model role or environment, all objects. So interestingly, this used not be an advanced steel, so I guess they put that in. I don't know if it's this year or previous to this year. So for now, I'm going to leave that. So, okay, so I'm just going to go okay with that. We can see this is already the wrong prototype also. So first of all, we'll go back here. We'll check the plan, what plan view it's using. Plan view ADM, okay. So let's select that plan. And I want to use this one here, which is selected cameras page full ADM. And I made the mistake there of not picking the sheet, so I should have picked the sheet that I want to put this on. My haste. So what I'll do is I can delete whatever that's going to come out in E2 probably. Let's see, E2, yeah. So also previous to this version, it used to come out as E002, and now it's coming out as E2, which is interesting also, as far as I know, unless it's a setting in there. So let me do that again. This time I'm going to put it onto that E100 sheet. It's going to come back in at that scale of 1/2 inches to 1 because I have it set as that in there. So maybe for now, for visibility reasons, we'll leave it as 1/2 inch so it's filling up the sheet. Alright, so that should be on E100. You can see the grid lines are shorter. Now, they may be too short, right? So if they're too short, then I'll just select similar and then I'll go to properties. Advanced properties, you can see it is a 1/2 inch. I'll just change it to 1 inch and that just gives me some space to pull that up inside. You can make that bigger if you want. Just generally it doesn't need to be too big, I feel. So right now we have some of our stuff in here. We're able to see everything. Do we want to see everything? Do we want to see the grating? Because we can't see the grating. I kind of like giving it like this, right? So you can see which side the clips are on. So it's kind of good that in that sense. But again, because we have a number that there's no numbers coming in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the drawing style. We'll have a look. Plan view, representation, object presentation, beams, top front, beam side width, that would be the columns. So again, there is no column one. I don't want, this will work for columns, but I really want to create a separate one for columns in case there's a beam on its end also, which is not too common really, I guess. So I'm going to come back in here. We're going to do the same thing. Parts with model roles. It's not a main part, sorry. We want to have parts with model roles, columns, side width, and we want to put in label. So we want to use, see, in my old system, I have so many labels in here, it's crazy. The system still works fine, but there's just too much stuff because all the things I tried throughout the years, it's a bit of a mess. So let me see if you know what, I'm not going to keep switching the scale. So right now I'm going to cancel out that. I'm going to go back into the drawing style. I'm going to up that scale to to ½ inch, like I output in the first place. So plan view, view properties, ½ inch. So it's not getting bigger and smaller. As soon as I do this, I've got to change it onto our prototype also. Uh, so we'll see. The problem is these columns aren't visible, right? So it's not going to add that label. But if those columns are coming all the way through or on the next project, if the columns are visible, it will label those columns. So right now, condenser framing, that's good. All right, so we're going to go to labels of dimensions, come over here and click on this one. Here for your prototypes, you can see it's giving you the option in the model, it's given you the option of that file that I put in previously. So that file that I put in to this project, which is 600, isn't it? 600. DWG, and then you want to go into this folder. So just in case you weren't here for the last video, this prototypes folder is what shows up there. So it gives you that option first. So that's the one I do want to use. So I'll use that one. All right. So now we want to come in and we want to start labeling these beams. We want to label these braces. In this situation, you can almost label these the same. But let me see. I'm trying to think what way I'll do it. So object presentation. So obviously, of course, these columns didn't come in either because I didn't put it high enough, but they're not going to come in anyway. They're not going to come in anyway, I don't think, because we can't see the columns properly. They're just hidden lines. So beam side width, no. Beams top front. So if we click on this one, we can see that this should work if we want to use this. But honestly, I would just change this for now. I would just change this to all, or check if there's one with all already, which is this one, and you could just move that above it. So we'll try and change this one first and we'll see. So let's come in here and go to beams, And we just want this one here. We don't want the one with the label or with the leader line. So, and we'll just wait to see what happens. And it should be placed along the object. Now, in this situation, you can see that came in as a beam. So I've mislabeled that. These two, if you remember, I switched them earlier to horizontal bracing, and they are horizontal bracing. So we would want to go back and fix that. So I guess I don't really need to do it right now, but I guess I would just turn off the grating for now and then just select the bracing. I think it was just four corners and in the middle, right? So these two I did already, right? So and there's two hiding here between those bigger ones. And that's it, right? So it's those six. We got the other two already. Advanced properties, naming. So model role is really one of the most important things because that's how you can control everything. The model role. All right, so I should have zoomed out a little so you could see that changing, but so you can see they've changed now to vertical bracing, right? So just make sure your labels aren't overlapping with anything. So what I generally do is, maybe everybody likes to give all the information on the one drawing. I don't. Uh, Wrong or right, I like to give a second drawing. So that's what I'm going to do right now. The grading is turned off. These labels, I'm going to move them all to the south and the west. And we can see, there's a setting for these also. So when you update them, they don't move. I'm going to have to check that setting. So for now, let's say we're fairly happy with that. Um, Obviously, the same label for this one is working for this and the beams, and it doesn't really matter. It works in this situation. Um, there is a chance it may not work, and in that case, you would want to create another one for bracing in here. I did that previously for the elevation, so I won't do it for this one. So there's just a couple of settings I want to check that I'm just gonna have to search for them for a second. So let's go have a look. Defaults. I'm thinking one is color. I want to check color. Drawn presentation, maybe. So these are the colors of reference for details, color, general, preserve the symbol color for drawing, no, general, no, block, this one. No, there's a setting where that your drawing is going to come out the colors of what they are, and can't remember where it is. I'll have to try and find that. Use color by layer in overview drawings. Visible lines. I think that's the one, isn't it? I think that's the one. The other one, what was the other thing I wanted to check? Labels, drawing label, Add labels. Do not display labels for standard holes. So this one here. If selected, labels using the arrange beam labels according to compass will reset their position to the default one during update. If they are manually set position, so if you read it, sorry, it's disappearing. If your manually set position is outside the accepted area around mark beam end when selected, these type of labels will keep any manual changes. So if selected, it will put them back to where they were supposed to be. So generally I don't tick that box, I think. So again, that's a setting that I would have done a long time ago. So I've got to refresh myself on a lot of these things. But that's where it is. So let me load them settings and I'll get back to the drawing. So right now, I'm happy enough with this. So let's say that's half inches to 1. Let's say if we scale this down a little bit, right? So let's scale it down to 3/8 is to 1. So there is another one in here that is out of the box for grating, right? We saw that earlier. So, and I believe I copied it, right? So let's go in now and have a look. You can see it's getting a little tighter here with your labels now that I've made this smaller. And that's with my 3/32 text. So you can see it's 3/32 text. So just make sure all these are good. Um, Now, obviously, you don't have all the dimensions you want. There is dimension strategies, but they're a little tricky to get figured out for me anyway. I still haven't really got a handle on them. I have to sit down and have a long look at those sometime. But for now, let's say we're happy with this. So I'm just going to copy this over. So let's say we copy it over to here. Alright, so we're a little tight on the page. We'll move the two of them over together. And then we'll move this compass back a little bit. We're still a little tight. Alright, we could put them on another sheet if we wanted to, but I think this is probably better. So output, this just shows you how useful it can be, I guess. So if I come in here now, and let me see, plan view ADM, right? And then we have plan view stairs, ADM. There's a plan view gratings. So I can take this one if I want, but I'm not. I'm going to take my one because I have my labels set in there, right? So I'm going to copy this. And this is going to be plan view grating, ADM, okay. And then I'm going to come in and, sorry, view definition, create a new one. Plan view grating, ADM. And then object presentation. I don't need that in there anymore. I didn't need it in the first place really anyway, so I'll just change that to grating. Just keep in mind after we do all these, we're going to have to do some numbering and then that's going to affect it again. So I might have to try and cover that as well, just because it can get a little tricky or a little confusing. So right now, object presentation. So if we go to the grating one here and take a look at it for a second, you can see that the object presentation for grating and main part grating is visible hidden symbol, and it's got a mark on the main part, right? So again, that was visible hidden symbol. Now we don't need the hidden, I don't think. It's the symbol is what you want, kind of. So what we'll do is we'll come in here and we'll take a look. So have we got grating? We have main part grating. So we don't have main part grating yet, but visible symbol. We don't have any hidden grating, so that's okay. Then we can see down here, do we even have grating in here? No. No, so we don't even have grating in here, which is fine. They didn't have it in here because they've set up the system definitely better than it used to be set up out of the box. But still, obviously, do they want everyone to number? I don't know. Does everyone number all their jobs before they send them out for approval? Some people would say not to, because then you're asked for piece details. It's kind of the thought on that, but who knows? Uh, there's smarter people than me out there. So I'm going to go again to parts with model role, and let's see, is there grating here? There isn't, so let's see if there's parts, all model roles, grating, I guess. So let's see what this one is, all model roles for any type of grating. Okay, so that's fine, we can use that one. So maybe we'll just put that up next to the other grating, like it was in the other one, right? So it's up above the top of all this stuff. That's right there, so we'll go up another 3 spots. Grating. Alright, so again we're going to have visible symbol. Should work for us. All, any, off. So right now I'm not going to put a label on it because it'll label everything, all the grain. So let's use this. Now, have I got did I change that scale back? No, I didn't. So let's change the scale back to 3/32. So I should probably call this grating and railing, because I'm going to put the railing on this as well. So check the scale. Yeah, so let's change this back down, or it's going to keep jumping up and down on us again. I'm changing it the other way. Apply, use. Alright, so the grating should come on here. So some of the brace and the labels will probably disappear because they'll be below the grating. So we'll just see how it behaves. So you can see the labels disappeared on a lot of them. So right now, I mean, you can leave it like that, right? We have the grading, and that's okay. And then if you plot that out just to see what it looks like. You can see the colors have changed there. So that color correction I made seems to have worked. So let's see what this comes out like. So it's a little dark, right? It's not bad, right? But if you already have this view, do you need to see everything underneath this? Possibly, uh, but I think maybe only if you don't have this view. So let me zoom in. It also looks kind of black, right? It's a bit dark. So there's some other stuff we got to back down here probably. If we zoom in, we can see what's going on here. can see everything, all these lines are all a bit thick, right? I mean, it could be worse, but like the bolts, the hidden lines, all these things are all, everything is kind of encroaching on everything else. So we're going to have to back down some of our lines. So for now, we'll concentrate on turning off elements first. So I'm going to close that. So right here, this is our grating drawing style. So we can mess around with it as much as we want, and our other one will still be okay. The line thicknesses, that's something different. So if I come in here, I want to go to object presentation. All right, so the main part beams. So these beams, we did this one here. So instead of visible hidden system, I'm going to turn that off, right? So let's turn off those beams, right? What else do we want to do? Bolts. Let's turn off the bolts. So I'm going to turn off the bolts and I'm going to turn off the beams. So that should turn any hidden, you know what, I don't want to turn them off. I want to turn off the bolts possibly, but you want to just turn it to visible. That's what you want to do, sorry. So I want to turn that to visible and beams. Sorry, I like to look at it in the full page here. It's easier to see. This one here. So we want to make this visible. That's what we want to do. So make that visible. So keep in mind that our plates and our bolts are still set on. Some of our plates and our clips. Now our clips can also be still under beams. So we'll see if they turn off. So beams. Now these beams are only going to turn off while they're not numbered because this is for not main part beams. So we could see that the plates and the clips are still on, like I was saying, but it's starting to look like a clean grating drawing, right? So if that's what you want, maybe that's not what you want. So maybe you want it all on the one drawing. If that's the case, go back over to this other drawing, leave the beams as hidden, and then just turn the grating on. So you can do that also. So right now, clip angles is what I want to look for now. I don't know if clip angles are here. If clip angles are not here, if you could guess what they are, what do you think they would be? So a clip is made of an angle. An angle is treated as a beam. So it's a beam and it's going to be side width. So it's going to be this one. Now, I don't want that to be just a beam. I prefer that to be more specific. So I'm going to create a new one. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to make this parts all model roles or parts with model role clip angle. So I'm going to create a clip angle one. Visible, examine, so I don't want that to be visible, I'm going to just make that visible and no label, and I'm going to go back to object presentation and I'm going to move that up above. I have to move it above that one at least, so I can go even higher. Maybe I want to put it above the columns. I'll just keep it in here. I want this to be visible. Also the columns, do I want to see the columns? Not really, right? So the columns, we can turn that to visible also. Apply, use. Now we didn't do the plates yet, so that's just going to turn off all those clips. So let's see if the clips disappear. Give it a second. Now, of course, as soon as you have these set up, they're set up for good then. Now, the problem is you can't see the beams now underneath here, so it just depends on what your client likes to see or what you think is a good thing for him to see. If it's just going to be for numbering, I like to give a simple one like this with just all the numbers of the grating. So there's an easy plan for laying out the grating. You know, some clients want less sheets, some clients want more sheets. So again, we want to turn off those plates, right? So let's just go back in and we can turn off all the plates. And if I you can treat all these plates differently. I can create one for a gusset plate, one for an end plate, one for a cap plate, one for a base plate. Right now, we don't need to do that. We just need to change this one to visible. And that's most likely, without checking fully, that's most likely what's controlling all of those. So if I go in here a little bit, you'll see these two plates will disappear and all the rest of them. Still here, sorry, I'll just give it a second. And then the only thing we want to do then is I also want to call out the railings, right? So I want to get the railing on this drawing. I haven't decided where the splices are yet or I wouldn't have at this point. Usually I'll get the approval and then I'll figure out the splices with the client. Uh, all right, so we want to go back in. Now, we can do a couple of different things here because we don't have it numbered obviously, right? So that's part of our issue. So right now it's railing objects one. The group one usually is the top rail, so it's visible, so that's good. And then what do we want to label this? So it's going to be a beam, right? So it's not a part mark. So what do we want to do? Do we want to do section roll, model roll? We probably want to have a leader line. So let's just try the one we've created already, this one here with the leader line, and see how this looks. It should bring in a label for each one of them, so there's going to be two on each side because they're split in the middle along that 11.6 line. Well, there's going to be one on that left hand side. So yeah, so railing, handrail, landing. So you could just leave it like that, and then you're going to give a section through it. Later when it updates, this is going to get a number, so you can see, or you can just leave one of these labels and just say all round. You're going to want to show them what size the gap is in the middle. Maybe you want to going to suggest some splice locations. So I appear to be missing a part of that, which is probably part of the issue I had earlier with this being created in a different version. So I'm not going to worry about that for now. Everything else seems to be okay. Let me update this one and see if this colors will change for me just by updating it. No, maybe not. So I won't worry about it too much, but I'll try one other thing. I'll just try to update it. Sometimes we update it using that same drawing style. So I don't want to use the grating one, right? Because it's going to change that one. So I want to use this one. And I want to check the scale. So we'll scale it back down to 3/8. Alright, hopefully it'll change. If not, it doesn't really matter. From now on, it'll work for me. so I don't mind too much. Also, sometimes if you close it and open it again, if I update it. But this is what I want. So because if I have existing beams, I want them to come out in gray. So this is the way I like the grating, I believe. I'm trying to remember. If I try to put a hatch on it, for now I'll just leave it. So you get the idea. So now you have. I want to do one other one. So right now we have a detail view, we have a plan view, we have an elevation view, we have a plan view for grading, and the stairs and railing one is going to be the same. Um, Anchor plan. We want to create a new one of these, so I'm going to do it right now. I may not go in and edit anything in it, or maybe I will. ATM. All right. Well, I'm getting there. There's still going to be a lot to do after I finish the series because there's going to be stuff that I can't remember. I really should have sat down and took notes over time, but really didn't have the time to do that. So the other thing I can probably do right now, which would be advisable, would be to come into these and look at them. So this probably is advisable, and it is a way you can do it without numbering it. So let's say I still need to edit this one. So let's just say this one is going to clearly have columns, right? So it's going to have this main part beam side width, but I want that to be a column again, the same as before. So let's create a new one, and it's going to be a column. So same thing, go back in here, parts width model roles, column. Okay, we want to have, I don't know, do I want the medium line? I like to have the system line on the column. I don't think it matters, to be honest with you, but I'll put the system line. Labeling rule, I want to label that with the one with the leader line, right, that I've created before. So really, you're just using the same stuff you used before. Um, and then we're going to go back. So right now, we can see I'm using this label. So up here, main part beam, after I number it, I want this to be the same. So I'm going to change that to the same. And then here's the problem. Uh, Now I'm doing the beam sideway, right? And I'm supposed to be doing the column again. This is, or sorry, I have the column here. I got to move this up. So let me move this up. Now this one here, main part beam, is also going to do the column unless I put a column one in for main part. So I will do that because it saves. I just like to have one for beam and one for column. So main part column. Is there one with main part column? Let me check because I don't want to say. So here's the main part column, right? Same thing, and I'm going to change this in a minute. I guess I can do it now. So let's go change this right now. So what is this here? This is 1.8. It's this and this. This looks fine to me, but it's too big because I've 332nd instead. So mark and name and leader at 45. I don't want this at 45. It is common. I myself don't do it at 45. Maybe I should. Leader. All right. So with the leader, that's a long object. No. And so then I'm going to make this 0 degrees. So, and then I'm going to change this to marking name ADM. Previously, I had this marking name 330 seconds, but now I have all my labels at 330 seconds, so I don't need to say that, do that. So I'm going to do none, and I'm going to come in here and make this 330 seconds. Click in here, you can see it gets smaller. I'm going to come in here, and I'm gonna, yeah, it gets kind of weird. It looks like there's a line up there, a space, but there's not. Um, I still don't like this. Is still, yeah, that's okay. Apply. So apply that, and then we'll go back, and this is the one we just created, and we want to put that above the beams. So I'm going to put that above the main part beam. So there. So probably not going to have any beams in this. So apply. Okay. All right. So right now we haven't created this drawing, and I would usually put it on the 100 sheet, but let's just put it on a different sheet. So I'm going to select this. I'm going to double click first, and I'm going to check. And now I want to put that on my own one, which looks like it should be this one. Yeah. Half inches to 1 is fine. Did I check the label on that? Alright, so that's fine, it doesn't matter. So let's put it on a sheet, and we'll just I'll put it on 99, see what happens. So it should put that on sheet 99. I'm guessing it's not going to put the 0 in front of it. Yeah, just 99. Show camera detail. So here we are. So right now it's less concrete objects. Don't really want these ones on. So the problem is I do want the other ones on. So probably the best thing to do is just delete them. But again, it's just easier just delete them. So for now, what I'm going to do is external objects, I'm going to turn them off, right? So that's going to turn off those walls that I created with solids. Not visible, off is what I want, sorry. So they're going to turn off, and then this roof, um, you can do the same thing because there's model roles for the concrete, right? So if I go back here and I check to see what these are, I don't remember how I created these. I can be a little all over the place with these things. So that's not it. Hold on. So these are created as naming concrete foundation, right? So let's say we want to turn off the rest of it. So this is a solid. That's solid. Concrete foundation. So the concrete foundation I can leave on. The concrete walls, I don't know if I need on. The concrete slabs, I don't know if I need on. So let me just go back in for a second. So this is all concrete objects. So I'll create a new one. And get into this one and see. Concrete elements, beam, continuous footing, isolated footing. So there's not one there. What was it? Concrete foundation, right? So if I create a new one, if you come in here, create a new one. So we're going to do one for concrete foundation. Group in concrete elements is good. So concrete foundation, model objects, concrete isolated footing. So there's concrete foundation there. And hold on, let me see. Hold on. Concrete beam, concrete. Yeah, so I really should have this in as a concrete column. Then it's going to go in as a column as well. So I'm kind of getting stuck in the weeds here, but you get the idea. You can use the same model roles. I'm getting a little tied up here. So honestly, I'll just leave this one down at the bottom. The concrete elements I'll leave on for now. And I can't use it on this, obviously. So let me go back into it again. Now, before I went into it, I should have deleted that roof. All right, so you can see that disappeared. That's the foundation down below. This is the slab. So you can just delete that one for now. Just make it a little easier. You know, you might want to leave this foundation wall here for a dimension. So, alright, so right now you can see that looks pretty okay. The problem is the base plate, right? So right now the base plate label is bigger. So this is underside base plate. So don't love that either. So you can see it's bringing in the dimensions here. You just have to clean them up a little bit. Again, select similar for the grid lines, advanced properties, and I'll make them slightly longer. So 1 inch should be enough again. So just tidy up some of these dimensions, right? You might want to make these two go in this direction a little bit longer. You can just do that manually here and go 0.5. So of course then we're getting back out to where we were originally, but it's just on one end. Now I draw all my grid lines for years in a single grid lines so I can treat them singularly. I'm not sure how that works now with the newer versions. So let's go back in here and I want to edit this one here for the plates. Alright, so object presentation. Now main part plate, so it's this one here, plate, visible, hidden. And that's not it actually, sorry. Attach plate with holes, base plate, this one here. Right, so you can see object bottom level. So I'm going to create a new label in here. So this is called object bottom level. I guess that's fair enough. Base plate. I'm going to change this to base plate type and bottom of plate. Okay, so I'm creating a new one. base plate, and apparently I can't spell plate. Okay, and I do want a leader line, so that's fine. So I want to contents of label, got to change this as well, right? So type and bottom of plate. So in here, I'm going to change this, and joint name is what I'm going to put in here. And down here, I'm going to put bottom of plate, bottom of plate, and then you want to do object bottom level. So it's giving you the bottom elevation of that plate and the joint type. Alright, so that seems to be okay. I just need to change the size of it, and then maybe we'll leave it out there for this video. Let's use this, see what happens. Bottom of plate. So right now there is no type in here, I guess. There should have been. Let me see. Oh, there is a type, sorry, but I forgot. Let me. Uh, no, it should have come in, yeah. So upgrade the primary connection, and this should be just put in as, so depending on how many you have, these are all the same on this one, but you'll have type 1, type 2, and then just give a, let's say these are type 1, these are type 2, these are type 3, and then just copy these cameras over to here, and then just inside in the camera then also you want to say, see the way I have type 1 in the camera. So if I come back now and update this, let's see what happens. Alright, so see now if I zoom in, they were all connected, so now they are all type 1. So when I put these cameras then on, let's say we stick those two cameras onto this drawing also, these two here. Now we have to pick the right one. Now we have not edited these yet, but they'll be okay for now. Oh, that's pretty annoying. Anchor detail front. I can't remember which camera I clicked on now. Did I click on the wrong one? Front. Yeah, I clicked on the wrong one. Alright, we go again. Anchor detail front. Okay. And this one. And the scale also is wrong, right? We want to be at least 1:1. This one is anchor detail top, which is right next to it now, lucky enough. Change this to 1:1. Select your cameras. Now I could show you, but I don't need to. But I could split these from the group and change these to 2, copy these over, but we won't get into that. So I'm going to put these onto an existing drawing, which is 99, which is that one I was just working on. And then because I put the title of type 1 in here, these will come up as type 1 here. So the anchor plan is off. You can see it put one here, and I guess it stuck the other one on a different sheet. So, yes, sheet 3 because I couldn't fit it on. So that's a pity. But you can see anchor detail top. detail 1 or type 1. So these two are not great, so we have to change them. So anchor plan. So this is our anchor plan. Let's go into our title. So our title is here. Predefined remark, anchor plan. I'm okay with that, but I'm going to do anchor plan and then a dash and then the predefined remark in case I want to put something in there. So we'll just leave it like that. Then we'll move that predefined up to here. Put a line under that. And then we want to do scale. So you can see there's a bit of work in it. Make that bold, make that cyan. Now you can see it's come in as anchor plan because I put in anchor plan here and that just kind of shows you how it works. So if I change that to anything else, then I can have anchor plan and then put in the elevation here maybe. So anchor plan, and then you could just do, I think it's like, is it -8 inches or something? So it'll be -0 foot 8 inches, let's say. This is not necessarily what I'd put in here, but just to show you. So you can see then, save you typing it in here. And this one as well, let's fix these two while we're in it. Sorry, I clicked on the wrong button there. I'm getting a bit tired. Alright, so go back to details, front. So anchor detail front, I generally keep them in capitals. So not that green. Let's go back to the cyan. I used to do green here, but I changed it to cyan because one of my clients likes his dimensions in green. Anchor plan front. I don't need the predefined remark here. I don't use it on this one. Or, sorry, I do use it on this one, right? Sorry, I do because I put in the joint type, right? So the joint type, it gets a little confusing, right? Because in here it's not the joint type, it's using the other remark, the predefined remark, which I have written into the camera. And then we're going to do scale. Apply, use. Of course, this is the top one now. We don't want to use it on the top one, right? So I just cancel out that, and then we'll go and do the bottom one. Not the bottom, sorry, we'll do the top one. So same thing here. Click on that, change it to cyan, give it an underline there. Anchor detail top. Uh, I like to turn this off so it's not continuing from the previous line actually. and then just put it in for this line. Seems kind of weird, right? But I think it works a little better. Apply use, and then obviously here I'm not able to see the column for some reason, which isn't good, right? So just check that your camera is not too low. No, the camera is covering the column. So I guess it's just showing the base plate for some reason. Here also you want to extend these, so you probably just want to go over this way like 1 inch. Just extend this one 1 inch. Let me move this down, and then let's go back into it and see what's going on with the column. All right. Beam side width off. So again, that's not what I want to use for the column. So I'll come in here and move this up above its counterpart. Again, same thing. You'll remember we have to go in here with model role, column. Okay, what label? We want to go back to that label that we created earlier. Apply, use, turn on that column. So I created a label and I created a new one and I moved it up, but I forgot to turn on the visibility. So the visibility is still set to off, right? So if we go back to the column side view, we can see the presentation rule is off. Now you don't want to just turn on visible. You can turn on visible hidden symbol or visible, or no, not symbol, visible hidden system or visible system. So I don't know if I'm going to have a hidden one. So visible exact, actually we want exact also. So we don't need the hidden. So I'll do exact, apply, use, and then when the column comes on, the label should come on with it. Now you see the issue is this column is too, this label is what I wanted at, and these other ones are too big, right? So let's go in and change this. Underside of base plate 07. So right now it's giving me the underside of the base plate, which I'm not going to need because I have a front view, and that's going to have the underside of the base plate. So I want to give the base plate size here. So let's go back in here. All right, so plates. Presentation rule off. So it's not that one, sorry, because then the plate would be off. It's this one again. So honestly, we can leave this on for now. And the best thing I think to do is to get the plates, move the plates above it, and then make this the same. So it can be either visible or visible hidden. So we'll do visible hidden, keep it the same. Then we'll come in here. And what do we want to do? We want to do plate and plate name with leader. But the plate name with leader is going to be the wrong size for me, right? So I want to come in here, plate name with leader, and I'm going to make that my own one. Honestly, I really should put it as 330 seconds and not my name, because then I might go back and switch them all. That might be better practice because I'm not going to forget, but I think that's better to do that. And I'll do the same here. So I might go back and switch them other ones. Remember to click in the box afterwards. Apply, use. Now it should use this plate as opposed to the other one. Yeah, so it's changed now to tell you the size of the plate. But also I want it to tell me that it is a plate. So I'm going to have to add a model roll, and then I'm going to change this one over here for the anchor rods. So let's create another one. Plate name. So I want model roll first. Oh, sorry. Model roll plate name. Okay. And then I want to do model. And then in here, I want to do model roll. And last thing then is the anchor, right? So you can see base plate, and then it's telling you what size it is. Now, you could also put in the bottom of plate here on this, so it's base plate, tell you the size, and then bottom of plate, which may be useful also. So you can go one further step and then create another one. Model roll plate, name, and then bottom of plate. And then the same down here. I mean, I didn't usually do this, but I could do this, I guess. Name, and then we'll go again. Did I go twice there? No. Bottom of plate. So it's 1 inch of grout. The top of that thingy there, the foundation is 8 inches. And I don't usually turn the welds on, to be honest. I do a lot of them manually because sometimes the macro doesn't put the welds in where you want it, like on a base plate sometimes. Or is it a base plate or an end plate? It puts it in the middle, and that's no use then when you output the drawing. So you can turn on the welds if you want. Let me see. I'll have to go back and even check what it is. Single line. I'm going to leave it for now because I don't worry about that, and it's just my own system I'm setting up here anyway. So I want to do the anchors, so anchor bolts here. Come in here, I'll keep this simple and I'll just copy that and I'll keep it the same. I will go back and change mine to 3/32 instead of the ADM. I just think it's better. Or explanation rather than just calling it something. So I might change this a little bit because it's not great. Like it's 6 by anchors. It's like maybe put the amount in the brackets. something like that, right? So you get the idea. Now I'm gonna leave it there for now, and there's certain other something simple like creating an anchor. I was just thinking about these anchors here. Um, I don't really need to get into it now. Maybe I'll try and plan out something for the next video. It's quite easy, just create another healthy anchor once you're not getting too complicated about it. Um, so I'll just leave it there. I think I've done enough for this video. And I hope that helps. Any feedback is appreciated. And let me know if you like the videos. Alright, take care.